Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Winston-Salem High School on this beautiful Sunday afternoon. This is without question my favorite day of the year. An opportunity to acknowledge the hard work and dedication of so many of our students, but also give them an opportunity to acknowledge the hard work and dedication of so many of our staff members. One of the things that I said in our ICON meeting earlier today at 1:30, this is not a requirement. You don't have to do this. The students in here have earned this opportunity and earned the aiding appreciation opportunity because they have a GPA of 3.5 or higher. But you don't have to. You don't have to do this. So the students that took the time to write this letter, thank you. More importantly, for many of them, they're feeling this, they're thinking this right now, that was the easy part. Because now we're going to ask them to come up and read it to a room full of you. As educators, we kind of take these things for granted. Those of you that know me know that I can talk to you for 45 minutes about nothing up here. That's my gift, if you want to call it that. But for the students to come up here and even read what they've written, it can be emotional. It's certainly nerve-wracking for them. So with all that combined, this is what makes today one of my favorite days. There's a lot of people in here. We have just over 55, or just under 55 teachers to be recognized. So we're going to go. Your students will call you up. We can give you your plaque. You'll read it. And then the teacher that you selected will come up and get a picture back here in front of the Indian head, and then we'll move on to the next thing. You ready? Let's do it. Elena Parandi, you're up first. Sorry, girl.
Dear Kata, my first memory of you was when I was sitting with Mrs. Neal's choir at the Veterans Day program. Mrs. Neal introduced us to you as our choir teacher for next year. I thought you looked scary, but you seemed very sweet. Although I walked into your class naturally gifted in music, you have aided and poured into that gift and gave me the confidence to take it far. You have opened up a door to a world I didn't know existed, full of countless opportunities and lifelong memories. I've been able to perform at Allstate for 4 years, go to competitions, and perform lots, only because you showed me that it was possible. But more importantly, you gave me a family. Over these past 7 years, I have grown so close with my peers and have been able to share countless memories with them. The choir room is the first place we run to when we need to cry. You're often the first person we go to vent and receive advice. It's a place where we've shared many laughs as well as many tears. You dropped everything in seconds to be there for us. You unconditionally love us, despite all of our troubles and shortcomings. You showed me how to truly be a teacher that goes above and beyond, a teacher that impacts every student they come across. You're one of the reasons why I am going into music education. You're an educator as well as a person I aspire to be. How you treat your students is how I want to treat mine in the future. I want to give my students countless opportunities as well as a family. I am so excited to carry on your legacy as I become a choir teacher. Words on this page can never thank you enough for these past 7 years. Thank you for everything you've done.
Up next, Aiden Fortney.
This is a lot easier in front of the camera. Dear Gallons, making the switch from one teacher to another in the middle of the semester with, I messed it up. Making the switch from one teacher to another teacher at the semester is not the best part of a new semester. It's even worse when the teacher says that she knows everyone in the class except me, of course. And from the beginning of the semester, I had U.S. history, and I thought nothing much of Mrs. Gowan. I just thought she was going to be a regular teacher. I was definitely wrong. I didn't think that, I realized that she was going to be a teacher that I could joke around with and also learn from. At the time when I took her class, I thought I wanted to be a U.S. history teacher, but she showed me that teaching wasn't meant for me. I know that sounds bad now, but I promise it's a good thing. She made all of her students feel like as if they were one of her own, and honestly, I did not think I could do that myself. As a volunteer for Campus Life, Mrs. Gowan was always being there and around everyone. She bounced from person to person to get to know them as human beings, not just as students. That is one of the things that I most appreciate about Mrs. Gowan. She wants to know us know us, and we can clearly talk to her about anything we want. I know that she won't judge us when we need a shoulder to lean on, even though I am about a foot taller than her. And finally, Mr. Gowan. Let's just say there's 1,000 things I could say about this, but just a bit, but I'll just bite my tongue. The first time I met Gowan was not as a teacher. I met him at Campus Life. At Campus Life, Derek was always welcoming and always excited to have fun and do the next activity. I can always count on him to lighten the mood and make jokes, especially when I need them the most. Like his wife, he's also a shoulder I can lean on. Actually, lean on, not bend over and lean on. But with him, I don't have to, okay, I regret that, whoops. He's also very passionate about helping people and help them discover Jesus, and something I needed in my life, especially. However, he is also very passionate about media director. When I found out the previous media director was stepping away, I did not know what to expect. I love media, and I wasn't sure what would become of Tribe TV. I even thought about not joining when I first found out. However, I changed my mind, and when I found out Derek was going to be going to take the mantle of Miss Inwall Media Director, I was excited. There were some growing pains for sure, as you can tell from our first few streams, but we eventually worked it out, and now I think Tribe TV is going in a very, very positive direction, and the best is yet to come. Trust me. And it's because of Derek. He showed me that this is what I want to do as a senior, and be there to help me in any way he can, both professionally and personally. Without the both of them, I'd be lost. I'll be a lost soul going to college, not knowing what I want to do. I may have even still thought I wanted to be a history teacher. Thank you both for always being there for me. I know that even as I leave, you two will always be there for me. Oh, good luck on the baby.
I do believe in my 16 years of being a part of this, that's the first husband-wife award recipient, so congratulations. Gowans are making history. Up next, Wyatt Wakeman.
Dear Miss Walters, 7 years is a long time to be someone's favorite teacher, but you have done exactly that, and that is why I've chosen you to receive my Indian appreciation letter. That is also why I know a goodbye from you at the end of this year is easily going to be the hardest. Choir and singing have become such a huge part of my life because of you, and I cannot thank you enough for the amazing person you are and how much you have impacted my life. A very special memory that I have with you that you might not even be aware of is that in December of this last year, after I received my diagnosis, you were the first person outside of the hospital that I hugged and got to talk to. This made my day because I had felt so awful for so long, and not only to finally have an answer, but to know that I had you and so many others to support me. Already waiting for me on the other side of it was an amazing feeling that made the transition into this whole new chapter of my life so much easier. Now, whether it was solo and ensemble, theater, or an a cappella with Cascade, you have pushed me out of my comfort zone plenty of times, but I am now thankful that you did. I am beyond grateful for all the memories I've had with you and been able to make with you through the years, and all the support you have given me, and I'm so glad that I got to have you as my one and only choir mom.
Up next, Cindy Bishop.
Dear Mr. Marsh, you are the coolest teacher I've ever had. I am very thankful to have had you for 3 whole years. You are the one who made me passionate about science. You pushed me to do Science Olympiad, even though I'm a wiener and don't like participating in school activities. Being in Science Olympiad was some of the best memories of my senior year. Watching you sit like a weirdo on a bus kept me pretty entertained on the long bus rides to competitions. Also, I learned a lot more about rocks, which I didn't even think was possible. I was so lucky to be able to have you as my teacher for the last 3 years. Earth and Space was by far my favorite class I've ever taken. We also had the best group of people in that class, well, other than the rock boy. That class taught me a lot about our planet, and it gave me a perspective of what I wanted to do with my future. Also, you are one of the best teachers in the whole school. You actually take time to teach us and give us challenging work. While being one of the best teachers, you still make sure to keep us humoured by your dad jokes and meme references. I'm really going to miss you, Mr. Marsh. I really feel like you're a part of our friend group, without it being weird. I thought it was so funny that you participated in Khaki Friday with us. Anywho, thanks for being the coolest teacher I could ever ask for. Good luck making new friends when our friend group is gone, because you're not going to find friends as cool as us.
Up next, Cassidy Purvis.
Dear Miss Walters, as I walked into your class on the first day of 6th grade with my head held low and full of nerves, I was entirely sure that I would never find the confidence to be able to love singing as much as I do now. My shyness had gotten in the way of so many other things in my life. I wondered to myself, how would singing be any different? I failed to realize that singing was different than anything else I'd ever failed to feel confident in before. What would come as a major surprise to me was the passion, love, and joy that comes from being a part of your choir and being a part of the family that you've created. What I've always appreciated and admired about you is how welcoming and kind you are, and how you give every individual an equal chance when it comes to music. You do your absolute best to make everyone feel appreciated and included, and it never goes unnoticed. One of my favorite memories in the 7 years I've spent with you is when I was chosen to be put in the sixth grade my freshman year. I remember being over the moon excited when I discovered that I had been chosen to participate in this group, and I truly feel that it was such an important step for me in not only finding myself, but helping myself to come out of my shell even more. Being in this group taught me leadership, better communication, gave me a wonderful group of friends who I'm beyond blessed with, and overall has been an amazing experience to be a part of these past 4 years. My all-time favorite memory, however, would have to be our very last solo ensemble competition. I remember us working so hard to pull up our pieces, especially because we didn't know French at all, and seeing the progress we made every single time we all came together. Even though it was a tremendous challenge, our hard work paid off, and I wouldn't have it any other way. I'll never forget the relief and joy that we all felt when we came back with our score to tell us that we had received a perfect score. As we all shed tears and hugged each other, we knew that everything up until this point had been so worth it. I am overall so beyond grateful for the experiences, memories, and joy that have come with being a part of choir these past 7 years. I am thankful every single day that I decided to face time here and join choir because I have no idea where I would be without music and your guidance. You have been the key that has allowed me to realize how deep my love for music is and how truly passionate about it that I am. Thank you so much for helping me find myself. It makes it the best memories of my life.
Up next, Todd Bernius.
Okay, I've been here sitting back there, so let's see how this goes. To Mrs. Mason, when I learned that seniors get to give out a letter to their favorite teacher, I was upset. Why? Because I thought they could only go to high school teachers, and while the high school teachers are great, you have been my favorite teacher. On the first day of 7th grade, when I walked into your pre-algebra class, I would have never guessed that your pre-algebra class would become my favorite math class ever. Everything from your teaching style with games and activities to your constant willingness to help your students improve, to the circle song that is still stuck in my head to this day, your class was a bright spot every day. But the biggest impact you had on me was during the time I got to tutor in your class in the 8th grade. I signed up for the class because I liked your class the previous year and I really wanted an easy class. But throughout the year of tutoring, it made me realize how much I wanted to become a teacher. Your willingness to let me instruct students, to put in grades, to copy papers, let me see what teachers really like to be. Even though I won't be teaching math, I will always remember that year of tutoring and the lessons it taught me. So this letter is a thank you for being an amazing teacher, an amazing instructor, and an amazing person. All of the derby pies I've made for you are not even close to the positive impact you have had on me as a student and a person. Thank you.
Up next, Abigail Robinson.
Ms. Walters, I cannot find the words to describe the profound impact that you've had on my life over the past 7 years. When I first saw you, I honestly was scared of you. I was afraid that you were going to be really weak. Despite my fear, I signed up for 6th grade choir, and that was a decision that changed my life. Being a part of choir has taught me so much. In your classroom, I was not only taught how to sing. I have truly fallen in love with music and performing because of you. I've learned to challenge myself to become a better person and musician. Performing has taught me to cherish every fleeting moment because nothing lasts forever. I've learned that you get out what you put in, and that hard work really pays off. Music has become an escape for me. It is my safe place where I don't have to worry about anything except the notes that are on the page. I have found peace and comfort in creating something beautiful even when everything in my life isn't quite so perfect. I can't thank you enough for giving me the means to do that. You've also been more than a teacher to me for all these years. You've been a friend and a support system, and not just because we share a love for Gilmore Girls and Carole King. You've always been there for me, for everyone really. I can't count the hours of conversations we've had, but I can say that they have never failed to make my day a little brighter. Even when I have gone through tough times, I knew that I could come to you and find comfort. There have been way too many times where I've just been pushing to get through, but when you notice something is wrong, you drop everything to help. Even if that means watching me cry over yet another boy and reminding me for like the 100th time that guys suck. I know that you have a ton of these Indian appreciation letters, but there's a reason for that. You create a genuine connection with your students on a personal level. You don't just teach music, you teach life. And that's not something everyone can say. Even though my future career won't be in music, it is something that I will never give up or let go of. And although I know I don't have to say goodbye yet, I can already tell you that leaving you, the choir, and Cascade will be one of the hardest goodbyes I will ever have to say. Simply because you and all of those people are my family. So thank you. Thank you for the memories and the lessons. Thank you for being a pillar in my life, but most of all, thank you for the music.
Up next is Carly Bolser. Carly will leave us a show.
Coach Schwartz, you have always been supportive of my athletic and academic career, and even though I was never a student in your class, you really did teach me a lot. On and off the court, you have been a supporter, and it has given me many great opportunities. Thank you for giving me the best freshman experience that led up to a great relationship with you and a chance to grow as an athlete and a person. Your sarcasm has always brought me back down, and every time when I do something unathletic, I'll always remember you saying, "Wow, you're so athletic." I know that in college, when I trip or stumble, your voice will be in my head, and I'll do that all the time. So this is short and sweet, which is only half of you. I'll let you decide which half is you, Carly.
Up next, Brooklyn Boss.
Senora Anna. There are so many memories over the years that I will cherish from high school. There have been a couple teachers that have really made my high school experience better than I would have expected. When I think about one teacher who made the most impact on me, it would be Senora Anna without a doubt. Senora is one of the teachers that takes the time to get to know her students on a deeper level. She will take the time to sit down and truly get to know someone as a person and try and help them in any way possible. And that is something some teachers can't always do. I remember during junior year, second semester, I was struggling with school, but I would always go and see Senora after lunch, and our friend Drea would be there too. Senora knew what was going on. She never failed to help me and make me smile when we in a bad mood or just having a bad day. She would participate in making me smile. Oh, sorry. She would participate in TikToks with Drea and I and turn on fun music that we would sing to. This always made my day better because she was spending time trying to make it better. Even though she would jokingly make fun of our dancing or singing, she never failed to make us laugh and enjoy our day just a little bit more, which sets her apart from a lot of other teachers. So I want everyone to know what a loving, kind, encouraging, optimistic, intelligent woman Senora Anna is, and that I'm so beyond blessed to have her as a teacher, to have had her as a teacher, and the imprint she left on my life, not only to make me a better student, but also a better person.
Up next, Silas Brown. Reading for Silas from District 1.
Silas is choosing to honor Mr. Marsh. I, Silas Brown, have chosen Mr. Marsh for my Indian appreciation. I know Mr. Marsh from my biology sophomore year. One of the main reasons I chose Mr. Marsh was because of his teaching style and the fact that I will not forget him in the distant future. He is unforgettable because he would never give up on a student, and for the way he would always talk to every student who was falling behind and try to help them. Another reason is because how he would arrange group projects was the best way I have ever seen, and still to this day is the best. He would only let students with the same grade work together so everyone was getting the opportunity to engage in the classwork. These reasons are why I have chosen Mr. Marsh and why he will always be unforgettable.
Up next, Carson Campbell. Reading for Carson will be Mr. Schmidt.
Mrs. Speakman, when I first met you sophomore year, I was completely terrified. My brother told me that he and his friends always hung out in your room and that if I asked, you would let me too. But when I could hear you yelling in your classroom every time I would walk past, it definitely created uncertainty. That was until I had Kate ask if I could come hang out in your room. Then you made fun of me since I was scared to ask you myself. From that point on, I made countless memories having you as my teacher. Whether it was watching Star Wars, a pregnant 13-year-old sob story, Noah on the Cardinal Greenway, drinking thick water, and even playing baseball in your room. The list goes on and on, but we both know there's way too many to name. Not only did I know to go to your classroom for a good laugh, but also for help. From day one, you were always willing to lend a helping hand, whether it was physically, mentally, or emotionally, and I will forever appreciate that. There were some things that I actually needed help on due to my lack of knowledge, and then there were some where my self-confidence was just non-existent. I truly want to thank you for making me feel like I was smart and for being one of the few people that made it clear that I was important to them. I can't believe that my time being one of your students is coming to an end, but I am beyond thankful that I experienced it. I hope that you continue to be yourself and that you will continue to change the perspective of kids' minds as you did mine. Thank you again for everything you've done for me. I will cherish our memories forever. Sincerely, Carson Campbell.
Up next, Mia Katie.
Having the summers in report people come to our class, we want to speak to show our concern about what was really cool in my favorite senior. Thanks for being easy to talk to and letting us talk about our school things in the class. I'm glad I got to be a part of the class for the senior year and I wish I had you here.
Up next, Micah Crisp.
Mr. Augustin. Even though Mr. Augustin isn't teaching anymore, he has impacted my education more than most adults, and this is the reason why I wanted to honor him with my Indian appreciation. One of the best things about Augustin is that he was never afraid to be himself. It doesn't matter if it was in front of the class, while he was lecturing, or working with one of us one-on-one. It was always the same goofy math teacher. This authenticity helped us all see him as a human being. Not only that, but his teaching was interesting. We were always still learning math we needed to know to succeed, but it was always fun, and he always made it feel like we were having a good time. Sometimes it wasn't until we started working on homework that I realized that he'd been teaching, and that is the mark of a great teacher. However, it wasn't just math that Augustin taught us. he also taught us that our mental health matters. While he would push us to make us work, he also always recognized when we needed a mental health break, and he made sure that we were doing okay. His prioritizing of our mental health helped us see that it's okay to need to step away for a minute. But back to math. Mr. Augustin always made sure that our class was learning and on track, but he also made sure that each individual was on track. He would always stop to ask if anyone had any questions, and inevitably, when someone did, he knew just how to answer it, since he cared about math and his students. He knew it was important to be able to teach in a variety of ways. He catered to his students and their learning needs. While this almost assuredly created a lot more work for him, this work did not go unnoticed to me. I've seen plenty of math teachers teach the subject just fine, but the struggle most have is when a student is not understanding and needs this topic to be explained in a different way. I can't tell you how many times I've sat through teachers attempting to restructure an explanation to make more sense to the student, but to no avail. Mr. Augustin was different, and I noticed very early on that he was able to precisely understand what the student was confused about and how to give a simple explanation to help them understand. If you were ever in his class, you knew that Mr. Augustin cared for his students. I remember he would always put up the posters for whatever theater show Sight, Sound, and Scroll was putting on, and I always really appreciated that. Not only that though, he would always go to the shows not because he had to, but because he wanted to. If he couldn't, he would always apologize and wish us luck anyway. He would always come in early some mornings for study sessions where he would provide food for us. Did he have to do this? Again, no, he didn't. But he sacrificed his time and energy so we could be better prepared to tackle the subject. So, while Mr. Augustin is no longer with us, may he work in peace. I truly appreciate all he taught me. His belief in our abilities continues to help me and the rest of my class believe that we can do it, even when it feels impossible. Thanks, Augustin. Live long and prosper.
Up next, Sophie Corey.
Mr. Stearns, thank you for letting us watch Shark Tank every Friday. I also really appreciated how you would let us watch movies some days when we were tired from doing work. Thank you for trying to help me decide my major in college and for helping me be more prepared. Thank you for being easy to talk to and for being good at listening to all of our problems and everything we would talk about. I learned a lot about business and marketing from your class. I'm really glad I got talked into taking your class this year.
Up next, Mackenzie Clausen.
Dear Mr. Marsh, ever since I moved to Mistinwall High School, you have been nothing but a great teacher towards me. Ever since I started taking your AP biology class, I've seen much improvement in my learning. You pushed me to be better not only in biology, but in all my classes. You made me start taking school more seriously, even with the major senioritis I've seriously felt this year. I have always loved science classes, even when they were boring, but while taking your class, there was never a dull moment, even while we were still learning about the important topics. I'm going to miss all the random check-ins you would do with me about my future and what was going in my life. You always made the right things to say and helped me get through a lot without really knowing.
Up next, Kara Dawson.
My letters to Mrs. Speaker. Thank you for all your help over the past few years. It has meant the world to me that you were always there to help me, support me, and sometimes just listen. This past year has not been easy, but thank you for always being willing to hear my scattered, stressed out thoughts. I especially wanted to thank you for always being genuine. It means so much, especially when everything around seems so unsure. I don't know what I would have done without you. I have really enjoyed the chances I have had to grow in your class, both in my writing skills and as a person, as I was pushed out of my comfort zone. The skills you taught me have given me some extra confidence going into college. I also want to thank you for the times you gave me permission to take it easy. Someone telling me it was all right to give myself grace and to not always strive for perfection was so uplifting, especially on days where slowing down felt like such an impossibility. I just really want to thank you for always being there for me and making sure I was taken care of even when there were a million other things going on. I will miss you next year, Stephen.
Up next, Kinsey DeLone.
I was honored to write an appreciation letter to someone who I appreciate the most. I chose Joe Evans. It was the 8th grade year when I met you. You were so kind to me and always had a smile on your face when I stepped into your office. Your smile always lifted a big weight off my chest. Any room you had stepped into, you bring warmth and kindness to me. When I was struggling with my temper towards others, including teachers, I always ran into your office. Let's just say I was in Mrs. Schneck's office a lot during that year. From losing my temper to hitting walls in class to crying over a boy who broke my heart, no matter how sad I was, you could always calm me down. You are always there. Right off the bat, I knew she was someone I could confide my problems to. Trusting people is not something I'm keen with, but with you, I felt safe the moment I stepped into your office. It didn't matter the time of day. I knew if I needed help, she was right there. We'd sit and talk for hours while she helped me with my work. We'd talk about things I felt as if I could not talk to anyone else about, including my mother. You became my second mother within that short period of time. After 8th grade, I hadn't seen Schnepp in quite some time, but I knew she was still watching from afar, aka my mom's Facebook page. Freshman year, I spent many times in the doctor's office doing punching walls. There was this particular time my mom had posted on Facebook about what had happened. And there she was in the comments worried about what had happened. It was good to know that even though we hadn't talked since the last day of 8th grade, you were still there worried about me. It was the first week of senior year, and I was in the office as an office worker. It was then I found out Mrs. Schnepp was at the high school now. My face gleamed with joy when I saw her. It was at that moment I had finally felt the weight from the past 3 years lift from my chest. In this past year, you have helped me mature into the young woman I am. From times I wanted to kick someone's butt to times I was thinking irrationally and immature, you brought me back to thinking rationally and maturely. When people would try to drag me into drama, you helped me figure ways out of it because drama was the last thing on my mind. Words wouldn't even begin to describe how grateful I am for you. You are one of the few people to actually listen, and because of that, you are actually someone who inspires me to enter the field of psychology. The way you helped me with my problems and listened to me when I felt like no one else was listening inspired me to do the same for future children to come into this world. So they know, just like you made me feel, that no one is alone and someone will always listen. You just have to find the right person. And for me, that person is you. I thank you for that and thank you for being my safe haven. Though my high school year come to an end, you'll still be getting weekly check-ins from IUD.
Up next, Kendall Evans.
When asked to pick a teacher to honor, the only teacher that came to mind was Miss Kuykendall, a strong, loving, and intelligent woman. She wakes up every day and chooses to love everybody and never discriminates against students. And that's why I admire her so much. I remember back in my junior year, during the first semester, we had a 40-minute timed essay. By the end of the 40 minutes, I had a mental breakdown, thinking I would never be able to pass the AP Lang test because I only managed to write a paragraph. When I got home that day, I found out that Miss Kuykendall had called my mom because she was worried and wanted to let her know what happened in class that day. Knowing she cared enough to call my mom made me feel loved and cared about. As the year went on, she worked hard to ensure that every AP student understood what to do on the exam. Fast forwarding to June, when the AP exam scores came out, I passed the exam. Miss Kuykendall deserves so much credit. She helped me learn to have confidence in myself and believe that I can do anything I put my mind to. Miss Kuykendall is not only a teacher, but she is a mother to all her students. So thank you for helping me grow academically and as a person.
Up next, Jacob Pensmier.
All right, son. Dear Mr. Marsh, you're a cool guy. You're a cool guy, and I'm glad I had you for the last 3 years. At the end of my junior year, I was told that I was done with science, but I couldn't miss out on having you as a teacher for one more year. Every day walking in, I get so excited, especially on birthdays, because I get to see you. Even sometimes, maybe getting out of weights, just hanging out in your class. From all the Star Wars references to teaching me and Zay how to play Dungeons and Dragons, I can't express my gratitude to you enough. It's such an anxiety right now. You always make me feel listened and heard. You always make sure that I push myself, even though when I think I'm at my wit's end, you show me that I still have more to give. You're the reason that I have even decided going to college. And you helped me choose the path of helping more people in my future. I can't explain how much you mean to me, Mr. Marsh. And hopefully, by means they know we'll play Dungeons and Dragons also. I'm just saying, the offer's there, but that would be really cool. Thank you.
Up next, Isaiah Boothby.
This guy, having you for 2 years showed me that even through rough times, teachers still care. I've lost friends over the past year, and you made it easier for me to get through the school day. You knew if I was having a bad day, you didn't force me to do something because of the situation. And to this day, I truly appreciate how you just knew. You knew if I needed to put my head down, and you never gave me a hard time for it. You truly understand what it's like to go through life and have real life hit you in the face. During COVID, and when we were all out of school, we didn't make our work excessive, we always got that, and we were struggling to figure out what life was going to be like. You gave us a break, and still made sure that we pushed through, pushed us enough to not give up. Thank you so much for caring and making the last 3 years bearable, and for caring not only about me, You want everyone else to. Thank you.
Up next, Ava Richards.
Mrs. Maurer, people choose teachers that they have had recently or in the past few years. I am choosing a middle school teacher that encompasses what it means to be an impactful teacher. Halfway through 8th grade year, I moved to Mississinawa. Mrs. Maurer was the first teacher that showed me the true love that I would have for Ole Miss. Coming to a new school and being around new people was terrifying. Mrs. Maurer helped me feel comfortable and welcome at the school. I've always loved math, which automatically created a bond between her and I. That class was no doubt chaos majority of the time, but it began to create friendships that have lasted throughout high school for me. Mrs. Maurer's class fostered the love that I have for math. In your class, you made me feel safe and like I was capable of being my true self. Allowing me to feel so comfortable gave me the ability to thrive in mathematics and feel I could do anything. I will never forget you. I will never forget you always being willing to help and support me with any problems I would have. So, while it may seem like a lifetime ago that you taught me, I still carry the lessons that you have taught me. And as I leave Ole Miss, I will always remember those lessons and how welcoming you were to the new kid. Hopefully, I'm always as welcoming to those who are new to me as I was to you. Thank you.
Up next, Riley Chukwu.
Alright, so sadly, Coach Fleming couldn't be here with us because he's moved away, but here's this. Coach Fleming, spending the past 7 years under your coaching and mentoring has been very impactful, and I wouldn't trade it for the world. The team and I wouldn't be the tennis players we are now without your coaching and amazing tennis knowledge. All of our success in our 4 years of high school are credited to you and your devotion to our growth and hard work. The countless hours you spent and sacrificed by coming to the gym during the winter, taking us around the state during the summer for matches to prepare us, our annual holiday world trip, and all the hours spent stringing our rackets, all of your devotion and commitment to our program made this team the successful and amazing team that I will always be recognized by and remembered for. I also am so glad we finally got to beat Marion this year and could bring home the sectional and regional title in your last year here. But you didn't just care about our tennis careers. You also cared about our own personal lives. Every day when we were walking on the courts, you would ask how our day was and if we needed any help in schoolwork or even just life in general. Your joy every single day spoke to me so much to always have a smile on my face and to look for the good in life, even when the days are bad. Your intentionality to help us reach our maximum potential on and off the court was evident and still has me awestruck. You were always so honest and real with us, even if it were to hurt our feelings, but honesty is needed in order to succeed, and that is exactly what we did. I couldn't forget all the laughs and jokes we all had. Even amidst our competitive matches throughout the years, you were always cracking jokes before and during the matches to lighten our mood. We also can't forget about all the funny bus rides we all had together, but we better not go in depth on those. Lastly, I want to thank you and recognize you for your love for us. You loved us no matter what happened on the court. Your love was evident through all the laughs, memories, losses, and wins. I could never thank you enough for your love, funny jokes, wins, and just great times. You will never be forgotten in my heart, Coach. You're one of the biggest impacts in my life that has helped me be who I am today and will continue to grow into. Coaching is one of the hardest jobs out there, but you managed to be the best to ever do it. Love you, Coach, and thank you for everything you did.
Just to clarify, he didn't just like move away from Coke. He lives in Arizona. So it's not just a short drive for you to be here, but well done, well said. Up next, Blake Hyden.
Hi. I'm Taylor speaking, so I'm not just going to read from this, I'm just going to stare. So, Ms. Lawrence, I've had you for 4 years. So much fun in your past, half the stuff that happened. Can't fit in this letter. There's just so much I could talk about. Not only are you a teacher, you're one of our friends. We can come to you for problems we have in our life, but you're willing to share what happened in your life. You come to us for help. In your past is what I want to do in my life. I knew I loved computers. I thought I wanted to code for a living. But last year, I took networking and learned more about the IT and security of computers. And now I changed my complete career thought, and now I want to do cybersecurity and going to college for cybersecurity at Purdue, which school that you went to involved. So one of the things that you love doing is cooking for us and the students in the crock pot. And sorry, Grandma, but his lasagna in the crock pot is delicious. It's still one of the very best. So saying goodbye to you this year is very tough. And I just want to say thank you so much.
I will admit, I get nervous when they don't stick to the script. Because some all adult eyes have seen these letters, but Blake did a great job honoring Mr. Lawrence. Up next, Alicia Hunt.
Mrs. Stupid. Also, I put in parentheses, TTT. I don't know why, but I thought it was funny, I guess, and it was important. Anyways, I know that this is going to be one of the sappiest things I will ever write, and in all reality, it may not even be that bad. If we rewind 4 years ago, it all began with a single English 10 honors class, and only a select few of those in that class were freshmen. I was one of those small freshmen, and something that I didn't know then that I do know now is I would have the greatest honor of having an English teacher more than most people during their time in high school. I also want to admit that I do not regret many things in life, but I do regret not trying to figure out a way to take one of your classes each 4 years so that I can say I had you every year instead of 3. No matter what classroom you have been in, it has felt like home. You have created such a safe place for me to get my work done, and you have definitely helped me more than once when I have waited until the last minute scrambling in class trying to get packets of paperwork done. You allow me the space and time to get things finished, even if it wasn't the work I had to do for you. You are understanding and very real with people, which makes me appreciate you more, because if I were to ask you to tell me the truth about something, I knew you would. You've always done so much in your spare time in order to help me out, and I hope you know that I will appreciate that until literally the end of time. You have given me snacks, helped me with practically every step to getting into college this past year, helped me with my schedule both for classes and in life when I didn't know how to handle it on my own, and you have even came in during a weekend and walked around the school just so I could do an interview, which I definitely paced around your classroom for until I got into the Zoom I was on. You have helped me teach me, you have helped teach me over the years to be unapologetic about who I am. You allow me to have lots of random, wacky conversations and not feel judged. I can vent to you about pretty much anything, and you will always have confidence in me that I will get things done, especially when you know I procrastinate like no other. You have also laughed at some of my jokes or quirky sayings, and I can say that I am honestly not that funny. But I appreciate the laughs I get nonetheless because it makes me laugh too. I appreciate you, and you have taught me how to tell and write my story, but you've also inspired me to be the best version of myself in those stories that I do tell. I will always remember you and all of the wonderful things you have done for me. I can truly say that I wouldn't be the same person without you, and although I seem laid back and silly from time to time, I can say seriously and wholeheartedly here that I've been influenced for the better. You are a great example to look up to, and I can't wait to tell you all about the things that will happen in the future and share my successes with you. Thank you.
Up next, McKenna Kelly.
Walking into cadet teaching for the first time was kind of scary because I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know the teacher I was going to get, and I was scared to have to be around someone for a long period of time that I didn't know. What if I didn't like them? However, for the past 2 years, Mrs. Kierman has been the best teacher that I could have ever been a cadet for. And it wasn't until she told me that she was my cadet teacher in my kindergarten class that our paths have come full circle. Of all the things that Miss Kierman has taught me, she has shown me how to have compassion for all kids, even the ones that may be harder to deal with. Every day I see her have patience for the kids that need it most, and I know that patience can be hard to have. She has taught me that empathy is what all kids need, whether they are from the most loving family or from some of the most difficult situations. All kids need love and kindness in their lives. On top of all of this, Mrs. Kierman has welcomed me into her room as an equal, and while I may not want to pursue teaching as a career, she has shown me that I still want to work with kids. And no matter where I end up, kindness, empathy, love, and compassion are what we need to show others, from the smallest of children to adults. Thank you so much, Mrs. Kierman. The past 2 years have helped me grow as a person so much.
Up next, Taylor Kern.
Dear Mrs. Ethan, you're the most amazing woman I've ever met. You always know just what to say when I need advice, and you're always the first person I run to when I need help because I know that you care. I can always relate to you in almost every situation, and you always make me feel like my feelings are heard and valued. I feel like I can talk to you about anything, and you always tell me what I need to hear, even if it's hard to hear. You're such an amazing role model, and I look up to you so much. On the days that are hard, you always know how to make me smile and laugh with your hilarious yet corny jokes. I love how you care about every one of your students. You never judge anyone, and you always see the best in everyone. And on top of that, you always encourage each and every one of your students to do their best, and you never give up on your students, even if they give up on themselves. You make sure everyone in your class, and even the random kids that like to walk in, feel like they are loved, worthy, and valued. During my time in high school, you have inspired me more than anyone. I will always look up to you and your kind soul. Even though I don't plan on being an English teacher, I hope I am a lot like you when I grow up. You've made me the young woman I am today, and I am forever in your debt for that. Thank you for never giving up on me, for always listening, and for always pushing me to do my best.
Up next, Alex Lorenz. Reading for Alex, Ms. Jim.
Alex is choosing to honor Mrs. Kendall and Mrs. Long. I first had Mrs. Kendall for English 10 honors, and then the year after that for AP Lang. I remember my sophomore year, I didn't talk much. I was pretty quiet and hadn't really found who I was yet, but thanks to her AP Lang class, I learned a lot about myself and who I am. In AP Lang, Kendall created a very open and safe environment for people to share, listen, and learn from each other and the assignments. She also would take time to look at past leaders and past situations and have us analyze, work, and learn through those. I was very thankful for how she incorporated current issues and events into the classroom without pushing any sort of agenda. Through this type of environment, the students she had were able to learn from unbiased sources and create their own thoughts and opinions. Kendall always made sure that we had some sort of free time towards the end of class, which on some days was perfect for relaxing, winding down, and growing deeper relationships with the other students. But on other days, I can remember continuing deep and meaningful discussions over what class was about with other students. Kendall created a classroom where the learning was interesting, new, fun, and something the students we cared about. She wasn't afraid to talk about topics that were debatable or could create tension, but like I mentioned before, she was able to do so without her influence. You could tell that she wanted to raise students to be independent and have their own thoughts and opinions on the learning topics. With this style of teaching, she allowed me and so many others to learn more about ourselves and what we believe. In these times, there is so much importance in that, and I'm thankful she as a teacher saw that and did her part to create a learning culture that equipped us not just inside the classroom, but outside the classroom. Speaking of outside of the classroom, Kendall was not just an amazing teacher, but an amazing person. I remember she created so many opportunities for students when she didn't have to. She had a book club for a while to help students get their AR points. Her door is always open if you need literally anything. She is always willing to write letters of recommendation, and she is one of the most supportive teachers that I have been blessed with. This year has been especially hard for me with other students, and I remember she came up to me one day after hearing what had been going on and reminded me that what was happening to me wasn't fair, and that she cared for me. She probably had no idea how much just those few words meant to me. Kendall has been nothing but a blessing to me and so many others. Not enough words can describe how thankful I am for her.
Up next, Olivia Loft.
Mr. Young. Not being a teacher, it's difficult to think of specific things that made me want to recognize Mr. Young. But in looking back at my 4 years of high school, I realized that Mr. Young is one of the people that I will always associate with my time at MABS. Every time I see him in the hallway, he makes sure to say, "Hi, Olivia." If I'm in the lunchroom, he always does the same. If I have a question about practice or a game, he will always welcome me into his office and make sure I know what's going on. And I can always count on him to be there for all of us, athletes and non-athletes alike. Above all this, I know he truly cares about Miss Zenwall and all of the people that make it up. He's at every sporting event, maybe running around like a crazy person, but just being there shows that he cares. It's people like Mr. Young that make our school great, and I can't thank him enough for that. So thanks, Mr. Young, you're one in a million at Miss Zenwall, and it wouldn't be the same without you.
Up next, Andrea Lovett.
I would like to appreciate Mr. Arms for being one of the greatest influences during all 12 years of school. I had one of his classes my sophomore year of high school, and since then he has been such a great help in my life. He made me enjoy learning, and even
me with my future path. After having just one of his classes, I knew exactly what I wanted to do in my future because his class was enjoyable every day. Mr. Arms has not only helped me in school, but also mentally. Having a teacher in the school I know I can turn to and that will help me with whatever and whenever has been a great help. His class gives me and many others that I know a safe haven to go to if needed at any time. He makes time for his students to make sure that they have what they need and that they're always doing okay. I am only one of many students, and Mr. Arms has had a huge impact on throughout the years.
Up next, Trevor Summers.
Dear Ms. Faulkner, you have been a huge part of making my high school experience these past 4 years amazing and once to remember. You have made such a big impact on how I've grown and developed as the person I am today. I would have never thought that joining this amazing theater experience with you would have such a huge impact on my life. I remember my very first theater performance with you my sophomore year, Life is Like a Double Cheeseburger. I was this super shy kid that didn't know anyone, didn't want to talk to anyone because I didn't like it. And I was terrified of getting on stage and doing something like this. But the encouragement and support from you have pushed me out of my comfort zone was the best thing that could have ever happened to me. After getting out on stage for the first time, I remember having this instant feeling that I just knew that I wanted to stick around with these amazing people that made this experience wonderful. And most of all, I was happy that you chose me out of everyone in my theater class sophomore year, and that you were willing to take a chance on me, even though no one else was willing to do so. From my first show my sophomore year to my last, and the pop musical, my last senior year, you have been there to help me grow as an actor and as a person. You have stuck with me through my best times and my hardest times in my life these past few years, and I cannot express to you how grateful I am to have such an amazing teacher like you by my side through thick and thin. And for that, I thank you. Finally, I just want to say that I will miss you and everyone who has made this year and the years in the past that made me think of these people as not just friends, but more as family to me. I will forever cherish every single moment I had with you in this amazing theater department. This isn't a goodbye at all. You can't get rid of me that easily. This is to the next time we meet again, Ms. Faulkner. I love you and appreciate you.
Up next, Olivia Lucas.
Mr. Cunningham, I've spent 3 years in your class, and the worst thing about senior year was that I couldn't have you. You have been my favorite teacher since freshman year. It's not because your class is crazy. Honestly, it was the opposite. Chemistry was challenging, and you pushed me to tell for in a new way. You made school more about being able to learn from God. More than just being here and learning from God. And it's your investment in my future beyond my grade class that made me want to work hard. This investment showed itself in many ways. I remember freshman year we tried to whistle and we stopped class to get a lesson in your chest. How important it is. You let me keep my extra sports bags in your class because we all know the lockers could barely fit a jacket. And you showed up to tennis matches whenever you could. You cultivated my curiosity by answering questions for attention, no matter how off topic they were. You regularly checked in to see how I was doing in my classes, and you always made time in your schedule to help me with talk. jokes to your sarcastic humor, I can say there was never a dull moment, except the acid face of whoever did it. You took a selfie with our eye blue professor who begged you to, and I'll always remember the faces of matter as salads, liquids, and gases. I still have a video of the explosion we set off on the school lawn and a note card where we tallied how many times the other broke when we paid attention. I'll miss talking about sports after school and coming to your class with the other students to work on homework and play games. Most of all, I'll miss being your student. I could have had any chemistry teacher, anyone else could have taught me about entropy and colorimetry, but no other teacher would have impacted my life the way you have.
Up next, Zach Machete. Read for Zach will be Mrs. Schmidt.
Zach has chosen to honor Mr. Marsh. I love Mr. Marsh. This is Zach speaking. I love Mr. Marsh. I knew I did when we had the same favorite TV shows. I knew I did when he encouraged my art and hung it in the classroom, or allowed me to hang it in the classroom. I knew it when we were playing trash can basketball. I knew it when we broke one of his science speaker things with a tennis ball, and I even knew it when he would yell at us to shut up. Me and Mr. Marsh would have definitely been friends in high school. I would have still been cool, and he would have been a science nerd. Unfortunately, I might never see Mr. Marsh again, but he just had his first kid, so maybe we'll be friends someday. Please clap. The last thing I want to say is that Mr. Marsh is very chill. Even when there were crazy kids in his class doing crazy things, he never lost it, and that is something I learned from him. Thank you for your time.
Up next, Lily Ludlow.
Okay, I wrote a novel, so just buckling. Mr. Cunningham, I didn't realize the impact you had on my high school career until I didn't have you for class with you. Sorry, guys. I remember the first day of freshman year when I stepped into your classroom. I was a shy, awkward, giant ball of nerves. I hated all the science I'd been taught. Despite this, you somehow found a way to make me fall in love with not only chemistry, but your class too. Then sophomore year rolled around, and logically, I signed up for dual credit chem. Somehow that year flew by, and it was already time to pick classes for the next year. I struggled that year, learning dual credit and having to listen to Kim, the lecture teacher, lecture for hours on end, and I did not understand any of it. So I was 100% positive that I was done with chemistry. Nonetheless, you pulled everyone out into the hallway individually to try and convince them to take AP. Unsurprisingly, I was adamant that I was not going to take that class. Then in the middle of summer, you called my mom to have her try and convince me to take that class. After my mom had nagged me for a few days, I reluctantly sent my counselor an email to sign up for the class. I could look back on taking that class as a mistake because it was the hardest class I'd ever taken, but instead, I don't. Some of my best high school memories have came from this class. Despite whether it was us playing Nintendo Switches after we got done taking the AP exam or just learning chemistry, I enjoyed every second of it. And while this class was a huge struggle, I really felt like I learned something in it. And what I learned was more than just chemistry. It was learning a life lesson about hard work. It was learning about how much you care about your students, push them, and want to watch them succeed. It was learning why you would want me to continue my chemistry journey. If you would have told me I was going in to sit in my freshman year, I would have laughed in your face. But you have shown me that it is more than possible for me to succeed.
You were the one that taught me to keep trying even when things are hard and I don't want to. You were the one that taught me all the real lessons that I need to flourish in life. It may sound corny, but in 50 years, I won't remember chemistry or calculus or biology. I'll remember the perseverance you taught me in your class. Mr. Cunningham, you were one of my very first teachers in high school, and your class was the foundation of my high school career. Well, sometimes it made me want to rip my hair out because of the frustration. It was in your class that I learned that I actually enjoyed learning about science. It was in your class that I was pushed to work the hardest, and it was in your class that I have shed the most tears. Your class taught me grit. Your class taught me determination. Your class made me the person I am today. Thank you for all you have done for me, no matter how frustrating my type A was for fifth grade, or how much you had going on in your life. I'll reflect on the memories I have of your class for many years to come. Thank you for everything.
Up next, J.C. Martin.
Miss Kirby. When I first got my schedule for my junior year, I looked at the teacher's name for my AP psychology class and thought to myself, who is this girl? Next thing I knew, I walked in on the first day and realized it was Hannah Guy, the girl I used to dance with when I was little. And since that realization, you have become the teacher I know I can go to no matter what. Any problem I have, any accomplishment that I get, any trouble I get into in Speaking's room, or if I need to complain about dance, I know that I can go to you and you'll listen. There's never any judgment from you, and I know that you'll always give me the advice that I need, even if it's not what I want to hear, but it's what I need to hear. And the honesty and bluntness from you is exactly what I need most days. You tell me like it is, and it's up to me to take it and run with it. I'll never forget the day you asked me about my coffee and I said that it was chocolate milk for whatever reason, or all the times I would draw pictures on your board even though they always looked really bad, or when I would leave sticky notes on your desk to remind you how amazing you are. Our little jokes, our card games, singing songs with you on the last day of school, or even just our daily talks when I run away from Speaking's room again, are memories that I will carry with me forever. On top of all of that, I know that you truly care, not just about me, but about all of your students. And that to me is what makes you such a great teacher. My junior year, I went through something that was really hard and nobody should ever have to experience. But one of the things that always made me feel better was going into your class and bantering back and forth with you about stupid stuff that didn't matter. And I will forever be thankful for that. I hope that one day when I'm a teacher, I care about my students just as much as you do, and that they appreciate me just as much as I do you. You're more than just a teacher to me. You're a role model, someone I look up to, and more importantly, my friend. There truly aren't enough words to describe how much you have impacted me and how much you mean to me. All I can say is thank you for everything that you have done for me, and I will miss you more than anything.
Up next, Kylie McMahon. Reading Kylie with Mrs. Young.
I chose to honor Mrs. Barnes. October 2021, I made a huge decision. I was going to leave my friend group. The only people that I knew since I moved up here from Tennessee in 8th grade. I was worried I wouldn't have anywhere to get away from them, but a friend suggested your ISH class. The very first day I met you, you've always been accepting of me and everyone else. I came out to you on the second day, and you've been a safe place for me and many others. If you didn't have such a safe environment, I would still be living with people who hate me. Thank you for always having such a kind heart. You show it in your own way, but everyone knows you care. Every white day, I get so excited for the end of the day, to spend just a little over an hour in the safest place in Mississinawa. Thank you for all that you do. Kylie.
Up next, Peyton Mcgee, Reading for Peyton will be Mrs. Schmidt.
Mrs. Speakman. From figuring out who you even were in Mrs. Rumpel's class to spending 3 hours a day to your room, somehow I managed to pass classes I never thought I could. In my eyes, I wasn't too sure of college, but I welcomed the idea and you supported me through that and helped me with my essay. I can say that taking the classes I have with you, I will be able to write in college much better if I ever try to go. The two things I can take away from having you as a teacher was how fun your class was and how much you cared about your students. You see many of your students as your kids, and you've shown that plenty from breakfast to goodie bags to helping with literally any work that they need help with. I feel as though you did not get thanked enough through all the chaos, but I thank you for being the teacher you were. Through trying to think about who to write this to, I really couldn't think of another teacher that impacted me any. Most classes I've ever had, I just kind of show up and get my work done and leave. I found myself sometimes trying not to skip any school for certain things happening in your class that I didn't want to skip. I have never done that for anything in school other than sports. I may not have been the loudest in class or the most outgoing at times, but I tried to because your classes were pretty fun. Through most of high school, I had to get to know you more to go from being Cody to Peyton more often. The Cody joke was always very funny to me, and it's kind of how you began to know me, and then it led to you trying to get me to take AP seminar. I never thought I was smart enough for AP classes, as I had never thought about taking any, but really, I had just never pushed myself. I may have been behind in every single class I had, but I genuinely tried to pass when it came down to it.
Up next, Emma Miller.
Okay, so I lost my voice, so bear with me. Miss Lobster. I had Miss Lobster from freshman year to my junior year as one of my science teachers. I would like to recognize Miss Lobster because she was a good teacher that I have learned a lot from, and she has always helped me when I needed it. She has always encouraged me to do my best and pushed me to succeed. She has a great personality and sense of humor. She has always treated people equally with high expectations for all of us. I'll never forget the time when it was senior spring break and I was the only junior in her anatomy class. Since we were the only two there, we spent the whole class making homemade ice cream. I hope the best for her, and I'm thankful for having her as a teacher.
Up next, Ridley Timmons.
To Mrs. Lee. Throughout the years I've known you, we've been through a lot, and I'm proud to say that I've taken all the classes you have to offer, not only for the experience of the craft, but your teaching. We've created a bond that I'm very grateful to have with an awesome teacher like you. You're everything I ever wanted in an art teacher. The level of the subject often depends on the teacher, and you've really inspired me in doing so. You've taught me many different interesting methods and pushed me through my comfort zone in order to succeed. We've become closer not only through our class time, but GSA. Ever since I joined GSA back in 2019, I felt we had a very teacher-student connection. We had a very strong student-teacher connection. You've watched me grow, bloom out of my comfort zone, and open up to the world to reveal who I truly am. You've helped me come out to the community and prosper. It greatly saddened me to see Mark leave, and I know it hurt you a lot too. But taking over GSA made our relationship even stronger. I wanted to thank you for letting me take over leadership of the club and helping run it and come up with ideas for meetings. Without your help, I wouldn't be this open and proud to be who I truly am as a person. We've worked our butts off on prom for 2 years together now. Our efforts have definitely been worth it after seeing how beautiful they both turned out. None of it could have been possible without your brilliant plan. It was and still am very and always happy to help out with Mom. It's a massive bonding moment for me regarding you, Mama Joe, and Callan. Your family has done nothing but make me feel welcome. The hours we spent together tying balloons until our fingers bleed, building trees covered in thorns out of the woods, and burning our fingertips with hot wood have been nothing but enjoyable for me. I've been able to create a friendship with Callan that I never thought I'd ever have. I'm very thankful to have you and your family in my life. And now it's time to wrap up this last year together. It really hurts me to leave this place knowing I will never have the possibility again. And I've enjoyed every waking moment I've spent in your class due to your awesome attitude regarding everything, as well as your overwhelming support. Thank you for being the teacher I've always dreamed of having, and I'm looking forward to doing one last yoga session with you in your class. Make sure to feed attention for me.
Up next is Jasmine Nicholson. Reading for Jasmine will be Mrs. Schmidt.
Jazzy has chosen to recognize Mrs. Young. I have chosen to recognize Dara Young, who is one of the best counselors we have here at Mississinawa High School. It was not that hard to pick her. She is one of the most selfless people I have ever met. I've known her my whole life, and she has been there for me and so many other students since day one. She has helped me so much throughout my whole high school experience, and that is not just with school things. She is the woman in the school all the girls go to when they need that mom figure in school hours. She goes above and beyond for not just me, everyone. Without Mrs. Young here, I probably wouldn't be where I am today without her support and guidance through high school. She has helped shape me into the woman I am today. Mrs. Young is one of the best people I have ever come across. Going through high school without a mom is hard no matter what. Mrs. Young helped make these years a little bit easier day by day. She would check in on me when I was sick, when she knew I was having a hard time in class, or even if there was a game that something happened in or we lost. She would always just listen to me talk and make sure I was all right. She always made sure I was taking the right classes and made sure the classes I was taking would help me out in college. I didn't really even want to go to college, and she helped me find a path that I was finally excited about. I would just show up in her office multiple times throughout the weeks, and she would help me whenever I needed, because that is the type of person she is. She means so much more to me than just being a counselor in the office. She is an awesome mentor. Those are only a few things that she is amazing at, so that is why I chose Mrs. Young to honor tonight through Indian Appreciation.
Up next, Ella France.
Dear Mrs. Speakman, when I was first starting high school, I was told by all of my peers to do anything you could to get a seat in one of Mrs. Speakman's classes. How lucky was I to land a spot freshman year in her 10th grade English class. And for the next 4 years, I continued to take classes until senior year. When I was just starting out, I had no idea who this person actually was, but I quickly realized that we were going to get along. Mrs. Speakman introduced me to an entirely new perspective in English, which I fell in love with and continue to do so through her classes. I have a passion for writing and seminar and research, and they gave me an outlet for all of this. Not only did I love writing, I love how she pushes her students. Oftentimes, we didn't even know our own potential until someone else comes along and helps us realize it. And Mrs. Speakman was and is that person for me. With her guidance, I was able to complete things in high school I never thought I would be able to achieve, and things outside of school. She has been a role model for me for the past 4 years, and I know that she will continue to be one as I move forward. She showed me that things in life aren't always going to be easy and fair, but it's okay to address those issues proudly and not let them hinder how you live.
She actively shows me that we have to find ways to keep going and keep fighting for what is right. Mrs. Speakman has always been there for me at low times. When I came crying down to her room, and times where we have laughed and joked about something for days. Through it all, I know that I have gained someone that is more than just a teacher, but a mentor. Mrs. Speakman provides so much for so many. She, for me, is a role model, a leader, a good listener, a giver, and an outstanding teacher. She never backs down from a challenge and never shies away from a task, especially if it means it could help a student succeed. I will always look back on my high school years at Mrs. Sinwell and remember the impact you have made on my life. Thank you.
Up next, Nathan Wise.
There are so many ways to thank this special teacher that has impacted my life in so many ways. Ms. Arbogast has helped me throughout my high school years, and I will be forever grateful for how you've helped me with all the papers I have completed and how you have helped me with many personal problems I've had in the past. One certain memory I have with you is walking into your classroom on my first day of freshman year and remembering how nice you were and how you were so loving to me. I love how you have pushed me to become better as a person and how you have pushed me to do my best when it comes to English. I will never forget all the kind words you have told me and how you have encouraged me and told me that everything will be okay when I was very upset. You have helped me see the positive outlooks when I have been in troubling situations. I will be forever grateful for you and how you have invested in my life and how you have made me push myself to excel, not only in English, but also in every other aspect of my life. You have put me as one of your major priorities in your life, and you have invested your time to see me succeed. Thank you for always being there for me when I have needed it. Looking at the past 4 years of high school, I do not know what I would have done if you were not one of my teachers, and if I did not say hi to you every day I could. Thank you for all the great memories you have made with me, and I will be forever grateful to you for all that you've done for me. Thank you.
Up next, Faith Pomeroy.
Mrs. Little, thank you for creating an inviting space in your room. This has been extremely impactful, not just on me, but others as well. Being able to enjoy hanging out with my friends and creating jokes with you was needed during this busy year we've all had. Along with making jokes and being very open with us, you have also guided me through talking about college and helping with personal issues. I appreciate that you are able to connect with me and my friends and guide us in a way where we are being listened to and given appropriate advice. Throughout the year, I always knew that if there was a problem, I could turn to you for this advice. Thank you for putting in effort in the activities that you are a part of. Being able to help you with these activities like prom and homecoming became some of the most memorable moments of my senior year. This gave me the opportunity to be active in a school event as well as create memories with you and my friends while being able to forget the stress of life for a while. This made my senior prom and homecoming even more rewarding. In future years, I will know when I look back on my senior year, I will be able to remember how you impacted my life. I know I've said this before, but thank you for making this year the most fun school year I've had.
Up next, Raymond Kowski.
Dear Mr. Arms, of all the teachers who have left an impact on the students and on the school in recent years, you have left the biggest influence by far. In my 4 years in high school, you, with the help and aid administration, have grown not only your science program at the school, but now the huge esports scene at the school to what it is today. A phenomenal program. My sophomore year, I was vaguely aware of esports, and at the time there was just 6 PCs and a Switch. By my junior year, it was growing. I joined the Overwatch team, and under your guidance, it grew some great. Now, during the tail end of my senior year, you have made esports a part of the core of the Simul's extracurriculars. Now, esports has its own room with 2 times the PCs with setups to support them better, and 3 times the Switches that are now hooked up to brand new TVs hanging from the walls. We don't want to neglect the fact that you have also won a championship with Smash Unified during Glory Simul. This goes all about saying the deep impact you've had on the student body throughout my high school years. Almost every student likes you and respects you, Mr. Evans. And the ones who don't are freshmen whose opinions will never matter. Many students, including myself, are now on track to go on to computer science careers, all thanks to you. I and many others will never be able to repay you, but hopefully our thanks will be enough for now.
Up next, Rylan Pulley.
Hey, Little, I really appreciate you creating such a fun and creative environment for your students. You taught me so many different forms of art that I didn't even know existed in the 3 years I've had you as a teacher. Making a batik was probably the most fun I've ever had creating a piece of artwork. You've helped me get inspired and excited to do different projects and allowed me to be creative in my own ways. Even when my friends and I decided to knit hats of each other for assignments, you were there to support me. You were supportive when you told us to make a ceramic fish, and I ended up making a 2-headed eel instead. I've never approached your projects in a normal way, but you've always got just as excited as I did with each one. That means a lot to me and made me love art even more. Also, helping with prom is really awesome. I really love building and preparing everything for it. Helping with prom has become some of my favorite high school memories, except blowing up balloons, that sucked. You letting me help with prom allowed me to experience other forms of art that I've never tried before. It also helped me realize that sculpting with plaster ballast isn't for me. I have seen the effort and time you put into creating prom and making it exciting for each student. And after helping with it for the past 2 years, I respect you even more for it. I always look forward to going to your classes. Thank you for making high school suck a little less.
Up next, Peyton Ricks.
Dear Mrs. Quillen, you know you're going to do so many things in life. This is just the first thing. You told me this April 21st of my senior year, and I think I'll remember it for many more years to come. The purpose of this ceremony was to choose a favorite teacher and write an appreciation letter, which seems easy enough, but I have a special reason to hate it. I chose a teacher that could keep me writing for longer than I have time for, since we both know how much I procrastinate. Yes, I'm writing this letter to you the day before it's due. If I had to choose one thing I valued about you the most, it's that you eavesdrop. You listen to my crazy ideas about what I want to do after I graduate, and you've never told me to settle or choose an easier future. You accept my ambitious spirit, and you not only encourage me, but logically talk to me about how to realistically achieve everything I want in life right now. Because I'm not only limited to talking about one thing I value about you, I thought about more. After sitting in your room during prayer group and during Ish, I've heard you talk about your students.
You go above and beyond to plan lessons that you know won't overwhelm anyone. Although if I had $1 for every time you got annoyed at your freshman classes, I think I'd be rich. In the outline for this letter, they encouraged us to talk about our favorite memories with the teacher that we chose. I almost hate that this was encouraged because mine is probably too simplistic to even count. But my favorite memory is seeing your door already open when I walk into school in the mornings for prayer group. I know that even if the rest of my day will be chaotic and different, I can trust that you'll be sitting at your desk with a cup of McDonald's coffee or tea from Starbucks waiting on me to show up, because we know I'm never on time. You've lectured me about doing calcmedic more times than I'd like to admit. You listen to me complain about how much homework I have, and then you make me actually do it, which I'm still forgiving you for. You've pushed me and shown me that no matter what I do in life, I'll be okay, as long as I don't limit myself. Most of all, though, you laugh at my worrying. You see how overwhelmed I allow myself to get, and you always are reminding me that I can be successful without doing it all in one day. You tell me I'm wrong when I need to hear it, but you also show constant support. You've even let me draw on your desk with dry erase markers and have given me coloring pages without making me do the math first, which I'm definitely thankful for. You've left me with a lot of wisdom that I'll carry around with me, so I wanted to leave you with something too. There are 3 kinds of people in the world: those who can count and those who can't. P.S. Anytime that I see an empty pop machine, I'll think of you.
Up next, Raymond.
Coach Friday. My earliest memory of you is from 8th grade year when you and Coach Cheryl first made me snow. I would make sure to be at every off-season conditioning practice, even in middle school, because I wanted to be ahead of the game when I was in high school. After going through those tough conditioning days, it made me nervous for what high school was going to bring. But when we took trips to Ohio and Toledo and then to Holiday World, I knew it was going to be a fun 4 years. I know for a fact we all had so much fun, even though you learned the entire team secrets because we would never have any of them on the way back home from Holiday World because we thought you were leaving with Coach O. I never will forget that you always pushed me to my full potential and always encouraged me, and never gave up on me the entire time you coached me. My first year when I played for you on JV, I was nervous, and I was still nervous. It's just as nervous when you coached me on varsity my senior year. I always tried to push myself to full potential because I was scared of letting you and our team down. There was times where I even questioned myself why I was even needed, but you always reassured me that I had a key role that needed to be filled and was an asset to the team. You made sure my hard work didn't go unnoticed by either telling me I'm doing something right or by telling me everything I need to fix in order to succeed more. These last 4 years of playing basketball, I feel like I really be a better person because of you. Hands down, our team had gone through so much adversity anyone could ever face. What inspired me was how you handled every situation and made sure you had a game plan on how our team would continue. I've been behind closed doors and it was tough, but when you coached us, you made it seem like everything was going to be all right and that we could do better than we had before. Thank you so much for helping me through not only the situation on the court, but also in my own personal life. Knowing I was able to come to you about anything really meant a lot to me, and I know you'll always be there for me down the road. I'm so honored to be able to say that I played basketball for you in high school, and you always know if you ever need a situation handled, you know you can always count on me to do a job with you.
Up next, Peyton Rowley.
When thinking about what to write about you, there are endless amount of possibilities. I can start with the many hours you've talked through life with me and provided so much advice in so many different situations. Or there are the times we can just joke around with one another about some of the most random things. There are so many moments where I've received little snippets of encouragement and gifts from you that are so thoughtful. However, I truly believe that the quality that stands out most about you is how you show unconditional love to all of your students. You go above and beyond to help everybody in school, even if it has nothing to do with your subject. From trying to figure out chi-square testing statistics, or an integral in calculus, you are right there along with us to help us through it. Even if it is just sitting there and listening to all of us rant. And then in your class, there are so many times that you are so annoyed with us that you still choose to show so much patience and help us through it. The thing about you, that the students really notice is that you care so much about the outside of school. There are so many reasons why I should tell you thank you, even though I know I can't cover all the areas you have impacted. But thank you for supporting me at tennis matches. Thank you for letting me borrow so many books, most of which I still have not returned. Thank you for being so open with your home and time. Thank you for calming me down when I'm completely stressed. Thank you for being the role model for me and how to love my own students in the future. That might be the most important characteristic because I have seen for many years how you are that teacher that everybody feels appreciated and cared for by. And I want to try to accomplish that in my own classroom actually. Thank you for never giving up on me, for always carrying me up and pushing me forward. I'm so appreciative.
Up next, Ethan Sample.
A lot of people here. So I'm just going to summarize what this is because that's easier for me. So sorry, Q. Math has always been my favorite subject, which I know is probably a shock to a lot of people. But to have a teacher like Mr. Augustine who is able to make math so much more fun, which is saying something because math isn't exactly the most exciting subject in the world. He was able to do something so unique because I'm not, as I'm sure all of the teachers here know, I'm not the best student to have. I am always talking and making jokes and being disruptive. Understandably, most teachers don't like that. And I've gotten a lot of just, straight up, hey, shut up, which is fair. And I expected that when I walked into Mr. Augustine's class, but instead, every comment or joke that I made, he instantly just threw a joke back at me. And anytime I would make fun of him, he would make fun of me. And it wasn't just with me, it was the whole class. It was always just jokes constantly. And it made a room of friends. It wasn't just a classroom setting. And that's great, but he also somehow managed to integrate teaching perfectly into the chaos that was his classroom. And in doing so, he taught me something that I'm never going to forget, is that I don't have to give up who I am, just a chaotic, dumb idiot, to learn. And that message came at a really important time for me because before I had Mr. Augustine, I was really starting to burn out on math, which was upsetting because I loved it so much. And I needed someone who could make the math fun again. And coincidentally, Mr. Augustine spells calculus F-U-N. I still don't know how he does it. He's got a poster on his wall that literally says calculus is spelled F-U-N. And I've stared at that thing every day for 2 years and I still don't understand what it means. But, he was right. He spells calculus fun. He made calculus fun. So, I hope that just as every day that you get to look at this letter and think of me in our class and the wonderful time that we had, know that every day that I get to learn something new and I get to do it in a way that I don't have to stop being myself. It's because of you. It's made my life so much better.
Yes, I was holding my breath the entire time. Up next, Darian Sears.
Just a fair warning, this is going to be rough. Dear Miss Little, as I begin this new chapter in life where I'll meet new people, make new friends, and have new teachers, I wanted to take a minute to thank you for being a part of one of my biggest journeys. Your friendship, encouragement, and guidance has helped me so much. I'll always look happily on all that I've learned and experienced from you. You have done so much for me. Not only have you been a teacher, but you've been a mentor and a very strong female figure that I look up to. You're loud, outspoken, and very headstrong in the best ways possible. But I also know when I need someone to listen, I know I can go to you. I'm really going to miss being in your class every day, and mostly I'm going to miss you. Thank you for all the memories, laughs, and teaching me not only art, but so much else. I will forever be grateful for you.
Up next, Hallie Sullivan.
I have had Miss Lawson all 4 years of my high school career. Taking her classes has made me love science and more specifically anatomy. She always finds a way to make learning fun, which is one of my favorite things about her classes. Even though she gives us those 40-page packets, there's always some kind of fun involved. She always makes sure we understand what we are learning. And if we don't understand the first time, she comes up with a new way to explain it. A perfect example of this is my freshman year in biomed. We were learning about Punnett squares, and for some reason I just couldn't understand them. She drew probably 20 different ones on sticky notes until I understood them, and now I'm in pro with them. Thank you for the countless hours of helping me succeed and for all the advice you've given me the past 4 years. Make sure to check your email often because we both know I'll be asking you any questions. I'm definitely going to miss you and enjoy the bonus.
Up next, Sam Adams.
Hello. In my years at Mrs. Sinawah, I've had many amazing teachers and coaches. Many have touched my life in the few semesters I didn't get to share. And I've been so lucky to spend my years at this amazing school. I care deeply about the future of the school, and that is why I'm so happy to know that Mrs. Rachel Resch will be here to take care of it. I first interacted with Mrs. Resch when she was the assistant principal at RJB. And she's been someone I know I can count on ever since. She's intelligent, powerful, and someone who deserves an incredible amount of respect. When I was little, I thought the principal's office was a bad place that you were supposed to avoid, along with the other amazing leaders at our schools. Mrs. Resch showed me that that is not the case at all. Mrs. Resch has done more for me than I could possibly write. She's helped me through many breakdowns and obstacles, and has reminded me who I really am. In the midst of all the challenges that come with being one of the entire building, she always found time to talk to me and make sure that I was okay. She helped me acquire an internship, which has opened many doorways to my future and created lasting friendships. She's written me recommendation letters and has gone to battle for and alongside me many times. Those who know me know that I can run my mouth from time to time. So you can laugh at that. But she's also never been afraid to put me back in line. Mrs. Resch has been willing to put up with me for all of my nonsense and tell me what it means to be a good person. She's truly made me feel like I am important and valued. It is people like Mrs. Resch who make Mrs. Sinawah High School one of my favorite places on earth. With Mrs. Resch as its leader, I know my sister and all of the other incoming students will be safe and successful here at Mrs. Sinawah High School. If I actually do become president of the United States, I can definitely say that Mrs. Resch helped to project me there. And if I don't, which is highly unlikely, I still know that Mrs. Resch has helped make me a better person.
John Oliver.
everything. I know these words are sometimes said to people over and over again and sometimes carry no weight. However, I truly mean this statement. Thank you for everything that you have done for me. These last 4 years have been filled with uncertainty and fear about what was going to come next, and you have been a wonderful guide to me through it all. It has been an honor to have the opportunity to be in class with you. I can't even begin to state everything that you have done for me, but when I think of the time, my mind flashes to right before admission decisions for a certain university were about to be released. The card that you wrote for me, telling me that whatever happens was meant to be, and that you were proud of me either way, has created a lasting impact on me. Another good memory involving you has definitely been this past year when I constantly asked to get a butterfly garden for the class, and you did just that. This, along with the constant motivation class, has truly made learning fun. You have been such a positive influence to myself and many others, and not just your classes, but throughout all classes that we all take. And it's clear just how much everyone looks up to you. Because of the actions of you, all students, including myself, move on into the world fully prepared for what lies ahead. Your actions have inspired the future leaders of tomorrow, and I know that you will definitely have an impact in my life. And I know that if I remember all that you have taught me, I can make the world a better place. The constant positivity that you project on the students has truly made the educational experience at Mississinawa High School a wonderful experience. In a world of uncertainty and worry, you are a shining light. Thank you once again for it all.
Up next, Isabel Lucas.
Dear Mrs. Speakin, I'm your plus one, the extra student. Although I've never completed a single one of your classes yet, it feels like I've had you since freshman year. Freshman year, I was always welcome to show in your class after school when you taught Beth. You never complained when I crashed class while you taught Olivia in AP Research. Even this year, though I really only have 2 classes with you, it feels more like 4 at this point. At this point, I should include AP Research on my high school transcript. But in all seriousness, I truly cannot express my appreciation for the ways you have impacted my life as a student and as a woman. No matter what, I knew I could come to your class and get help on my college applications or even other AP courses. I could always come and take a nap in your class with no explanation, and you were always there to listen to me vent about frustrations of high school and stressful classes. You not only cared about how I was growing academically, you also cared about how I was growing as a woman. You always validated and supported my feelings, but you also weren't scared to tell me when I was in the wrong. You constantly modeled what a strong woman should look like: confident, loving, strong in her opinions, and able to laugh at herself. You never take yourself too seriously, but you also can take command in the classroom. When I go off to college, I will know what to do if I face plant in front of the entire class, and as well as how to write a killer thesis statement, all because of you. When I look back at my time at Mississinawa High School, many of my greatest memories were spent outside of class hanging out with you. I will miss seeing you every class period on red days and snagging birthday treats and AP Research, but I'm comforted knowing your lessons will stay with me always.
Well, I don't think I oversold it. Now I think you have a pretty good idea. If this is the first time you've ever attended this event, you understand why it's my favorite. We're coming up on 2 hours together, so I'm going to keep my remarks brief. The students and staff are all shaking their head yes at me right now. But I want to take a minute to acknowledge again the students who didn't have to do this. Not only did they not have to write the essay, they didn't have to come today, and there were several that did not, for various reasons. But they did have to come up here and read and share their soul with all of us today. So please join me in congratulating and thanking the students for participating. And for the teachers, just a tiny, tiny glimpse into the outstanding, incredible staff we have here at Mississippi High School. This is a very good representation of the student or the staff across our district at all 4 of our schools. The teachers, as you can hear, there were very, very little discussion about reading, writing, and arithmetic, and so much more conversation about making connections to students. And I think as an ambassador of Mississippi Community Schools, that is our greatest strength. So to the teachers who are here, who are represented in these letters, and to many that are not here, but still honored, please join me in thanking our staff. Now we are getting into late Sunday evening, late Sunday afternoon. There's cookies and punch. They are portable, so I encourage you to fellowship as you wish, but fellowship towards the door. Thank you for coming. Again, have a great finish to the school year.